This is Missy Hyatt, and you're listening to the Interactive Interview.
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another special edition of the Interactive Interview, courtesy of ProWrestling.com. We're joined here today by Missy Hyatt. Missy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great. We got so many questions for you, so you mind if we just get right to it?
Sure.
First question we got for you is, were you interested in wrestling growing up?
No, it wasn't until I was 17 years old
What
that I saw it the first time on television.
What attracted you to it?
Tommy Wildfire Rich
Ah.
and the Fabulous Freebirds. They were the first ones that I saw on television. They were doing an interview. And I just sat down. My dad was watching. He was flipping channels. And I saw that, and I was like, wait, I want to see what this is all about. I had no idea what it was at the beginning. I saw these crazy Freebirds up there doing an interview, and then I figured it out, and I started watching, and I became hooked. It didn't take long. It took one show.
How did you end up meeting Hollywood John Tatum?
Leaving him?
Meeting him.
Oh, meeting him? Well, there was this hotel. It wasn't a hotel. It was like apartments that all the wrestlers stayed at. And my girlfriend, Cheryl, she was more of a, I thought I was just a small mouse, but she was probably more of a rat. And we would go over there, and I spotted John one time. He was laying out by the pool with that blonde hair and a deep tan. I was like, oh, my gosh, he's so cute. So we met, and we went out and ended up dating, living together.
How did your relationship with him turn into a career in pro wrestling?
Well, when he was in Jim Crockett Promotions first, we were there about 6 months, and then he got a call from Rick Hazard to come out to Texas. So I went with him, of course, because we were living together. And we got out there, and then after maybe not even a month, David Manning came up to me and was like, hey, you want to be a manager? You want to be a valet, is what he said. And I was like, yeah, sure. What do I have to do? He was like, well, Sunshine's a baby face. We need a heel for her to battle against. And so then they met Fritz Von Erich and met everyone else and kind of went from there. That's how I got in the business. It was kind of luck.
Your first promotion was World Class. How did you enjoy working for Fritz?
Oh, it was the best. He paid, always on the house. He was honest, and maybe because it was my first place I worked, but the TV was so strong that, I'll never forget going to the mall and having girls, young girls, oh, are you buying that for TV? It was my first time ever having that celebrity status, and it was awesome. And that was one of the best times of my life, was working there.
What are your memories of the Von Erich boys?
They were all cool and nice, except the young ones. I believe it was Kevin. I believe he really didn't want to be in wrestling. Was it Kevin? Was the third one down?
Kevin is about the only one that's still alive, actually.
Oh, okay. It wasn't Kevin then. It was
David or Michael?
Well, David passed away, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have Carrie, Kevin, and then
David.
Mike. It was Mike. He really he was the smaller of them.
Right.
The real smaller. I remember he had that toxic shock syndrome, and his arm was in a sling. And I remember he was more into doing production and being a part of that. But I guess he was just kind of forced to, pressured, I guess. I don't know. I never saw any of that, so I can only speculate.
What led you deciding to go to the UWF?
Well, Ken Mantell, our booker, he left and went to the UWF, and he asked some of us to come along with him. So that's why we went there.
Recently we had Jake Roberts on the show, and he really blasted Bill Watts. But how did you enjoy Bill Watts?
He used his height and screaming to intimidate people, not because we respected him. He liked to intimidate people, and I don't think he was very fair, and I believe he was a big old asshole, in my opinion.
Speaking of Jake Roberts, what was your relationship like with Jake?
Well, he was like the first wrestler I ever went out with, and we dated, and we kind of half lived together, and he was an incredible smart guy, but then he got really heavy into partying, and and he met a girl, Cheryl, and he was cheating on her with me, and he ended up marrying her, so I guess that's okay.
Back to talking about the UWF, how did it compare to World Class in your opinion?
Oh, gosh. I mean, it didn't compare at all. World Class, we were at home almost every night. We went on, like, trips to Amarillo and Lubbock or El Paso, like, every 3 weeks to a month. We were treated a lot nicer than UWF. I mean, we had to drive everywhere, and we were just treated like, that we should be happy that we were there and everything. But one time Bill did pay us pretty good. Me and Dark Journey were like semi-main event in Jackson, and the house was up, so we got decent paid. But once we got on the contracts, we were never going to make a penny over the contract amount.
She was one of your major rivals in wrestling, Dark Journey. How did you enjoy working with Dark Journey?
I hated it.
Why
She was always coked up. She was crazy. She'd hear the crowd yell for her, and she'd basically pull out all my hair. She broke my thumb. She cracked one of my teeth because she was just crazy. And we would go over the same finish, and we would do it for 2 weeks, and she still couldn't get it right. Never. I even went and worked with her to show her, this is how you pull hair and stuff, and she still couldn't get it.
Daniel?
James, would you like to take the next one?
Sure. What was the travel like in the UWF?
Oh, my gosh. Like I said, if we had a 300-mile trip, like 150 miles there and 150 miles back, that was like a day off. I mean, we were on the road constantly, and the day off that you would get like every 2 or 3 weeks, you used it to go to the bank, get your dry cleaning, I mean, just run errands. So it was like never a day off, hardly. And I remember we worked on like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and one year we had a double shot on Christmas, and we got to eat at Waffle House twice that day.
If there's a story here that you're comfortable telling, how did you end up falling for Eddie Gilbert?
Oh my gosh, it was an accident. We started doing that Hot Stuff and Hyatt angle, and then we hit it off. And then John was out one time. I don't think nobody really knows this story, but I was just thinking about it the other day. John was gone, I don't know, with Michael or something, and Eddie had a few beers, and I saw him walking out. This was, we all stayed at La Quinta in Tulsa, and Eddie was walking by, and I don't know, maybe he was lost, but I had him come into the room, and he passed out in my room, and mine and John's room, and I remember calling up Carl Fergie, the referee, and his friend going, "You've got to get Eddie out of my room. John's going to be back. He's passed out on the bed." Because he came in there, and he was just asking me, "So how'd you like the angle we did tonight?" And then he just passed out. I was like, oh, my God, how am I going to explain this? Well, at least he had his clothes on. But Carl Fergie came and got him out, and then they told him the next day he passed out in my room. So the whole next day I was joking with him, like, yeah, we had sex. We pulled around. I can't believe you don't remember it. And he was like, what? And so then later on we just kind of started fooling around together, and then we fell for each other. I mean, he wasn't that hard to fall for. I mean, Eddie... he dated me. He married me, married Medusa. And Sonny and I used to laugh about him like Eddie could talk with pants off at any girl. He was just a charmer.
On TV, you stayed with John Tatum for quite some time. How did John treat you after you went with Eddie?
Oh, he wasn't too nice. Like, he'd take security and walk off with them and make sure that he would spit in my direction and things like that. But I can understand, he was hurt. That his girlfriend left, and then basically I think he was more upset that I was breaking up the team.
Did your relationship with Eddie change the way that you were treated in the business?
A little bit, especially when he became Booker. Then people started kissing our butts. And I also noticed this when he became Booker in Continental, and we moved there, all wrestlers came over to help us unload. And then when he left, there was nobody over there to help us load. It's kind of like, in this business, when you're up, you got a zillion friends. And when they think you're down, then that's when you have no friends. Except the old timers. You know, us old school people, like, I saw Hogan last night, and I was calling him the Godfather and everything, and he was like, oh, yeah, I'm old. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had a job. And I mean, I told him that like 10 years ago when I saw him out in L.A. when I was with Jason. And I've always respected him for what he's done. And I don't know if he really knows what he's really done. I don't think he's ever really thought about what he did for everybody in this business. But like, you know, there's some young girls coming up. I won't say any names, but they have no respect for the women that were before them. It paved the way for them. Mm. You know, they don't. But wrestling has lost a lot of respect. I grew up when it was, you know, I grew up in the business when there was still kayfabe, and you respected the older people, and you shook their hands, and I don't think there's really that much of it anymore. Because the older guys used to help the younger guys, and, like, anytime there was a girl that came in or something, I like Dirty White Girl, I would try to help her and do things, but I don't think it's like that anymore. I think it's more of a dog-eat-dog, and nobody wants to help anyone. And that's a shame because, you know, the young people are the future of the wrestling business. And if the old-timers aren't going to help new up-and-coming, then, you know, how else are they supposed to learn?
Absolutely. You just mentioned that you met Hulk Hogan last night. Mind telling us where?
Oh, yeah, I was at the KISS concert because I know Gene Simmons. And we were, after the show, we were back in the hospitality room, and we saw Gene and hung out with Gene for a little while. And then when we were coming out from the back area, I saw Hogan, and I don't know if it was Edge or Christian. It was one of them. I think it was Edge.
Edge is the one that still has long hair.
Yeah. Okay, it was Edge. I don't know. I always get him mixed up. But he was very polite. I introduced him to my friend, and I saw Hogan. I met his daughter. Oh, my God, is this girl beautiful? His daughter is just tall, and I couldn't believe it. He's like, I didn't know if it was his girlfriend or what, because she was just stunning. He's like, this is my daughter. I met his daughter and his son. I just looked at her. I was like, oh, my God, you're the one that sang the national anthem on Monday night. Football. She's like, yeah. And the husband was saying, yeah, she's trying to get, you know, I didn't know if he said, I don't think he said wrestling business. I don't think she wants to do that. But I think
she said she wants to be a singer.
Yeah, he said something about she wants to get in the entertainment business. I was just like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. She won't have a problem doing that. And I heard she can sing, so she's not going to have any problem.
Just a question for you, but how was the concert?
Oh, please, KISS.
Thank you. Now, please explain this to my partner. Okay. He and I have arguments all the time about KISS, and I'm the biggest KISS fan in the world. Thank you very much.
KISS rule. I mean, Gene Simmons and KISS, their show is just as good now as it was 10, 15 years ago. Even better. I mean, let me tell you something. Paul Stanley. Now, I know Salava, which is Chris Jericho's band, played before, but I never go to the opening acts.
Right.
But Chris Jericho, when he comes out, you know how he does his arms? He spreads his arm out and turns around? Yeah. You know where he got that from?
Paul Stanley.
Paul Stanley, of course. I called him on it one time. He was like, you got it? And I'm like, dude, I am like the biggest KISS fan. It was probably the first album I ever bought. And then now that I've known Gene Simmons for a few years, you know, I have his phone number and stuff and can call him up. He came to my birthday party. I went to his out in L.A. I mean, he is the most soft-spoken, smartest entertainers. And you know what Gene said to me the first time we met? He goes, you know, the Road Warriors stole our gimmick. Of the stage fright. I'm like, I never thought about it, and I was like, oh my God, you're so right. And he was like, yeah.
Wow.
Gene's just the coolest. And they are a phenomenal show.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're the best show out there. I mean, Steven Tyler came out. He was okay, but Steven Tyler looks so small and dainty and little, like, you know, right. I could pick him up and throw him over my shoulder. I used to always think he was hot with those lips, but after seeing him in person, he's so little. I guess it's because I'm used to big guys, and Gene's so big and imposing, even without the shoes.
I saw KISS in August, and you won't believe this, but half the people walked out after they played. They walked out on Aerosmith.
Oh, I know. They did. They did last night in Tampa, because they started playing one of Aerosmith's songs, just a little bit.
I think they did Angel for a couple seconds, yeah.
Yeah, and they started booing. Everyone booed. And I can't believe that Kiss wasn't headlining.
Neither can I. I think that's a big mistake. I mean, I went there and everybody was painted up in face paint. Everybody had T-shirts on.
And I was front row,
right
in the middle. And I got one of those when he sang. What was that? When
God of Thunder.
No, not God of Thunder, but when the drummer comes out.
Black Diamond.
He sings that song about
Beth.
Beth. I kept thinking Babe, but that sticks. And he comes out, and then he hands out like 6 roses. I got one because I was first row right there. You know how, because Aerosmith has that long thing, the long ramp.
Yeah.
But Kiss didn't use that ramp. You know how they go up in the air, and then he does God of Thunder when he goes up and sings up on the top. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've seen a lot of bands in concert, and Kiss still rules as the best performers.
I'd have to agree with you. Getting back to the wrestling questions, in an interview I saw shortly before he passed away, Eddie Gilbert made a comment that Jim Ross was responsible for breaking up your marriage. Any response to that?
I don't think so. It was only because Eddie had a problem. He was on the booking committee, and everybody was backstabbing big time, especially Kevin Sullivan. And still to this day, I really hate Kevin Sullivan for what he did to Eddie. And Eddie would stay up all night just freaking out about what was going on. And I saw him deteriorating. And then I got taken off TV for something Ric Flair said I yelled at him. I don't know, some bogus stuff. And Jim Ross got me back on TV hosting, the Sunday show, and then my Missy does the male segments. And I don't know why he thought that Jim Ross did. I mean, everybody thought maybe Jim Ross and I had an affair, and that's not true. But Jim Ross was really my best friend in the business, especially after Eddie left. I didn't have anyone to talk to help me, and Jim Ross would actually help me with the announcing and help me with my segments. And he would take time out of his busy schedule to help me because he wanted to see me succeed.
What's your favorite memory of managing Eddie?
Oh, gosh. Well, I wasn't managing him. Paulie was down in CWF. And I remember they took Willie B. Bad's son and beat him up in the ring. And then John Gillum, because he kept doing this, like, $10,000 golden challenge or something and taking people out of the audience. And, poor John Gillum, that was like his best friend. He was wiggling, after he pile drived him, wiggling all over the floor, and then they took Willie B. Hurt's son. And I just remember that and how they popped that territory and started really bringing up the crowds. And it was all Eddie's booking. I mean, he, even in ECW, it was Eddie and Terry Funk who brought the Extremes there. They brought the, matches from Japan. Everybody credits Paul for that, but it's really Eddie Gilbert. And I mean, I love Paul Lee, so I'm not trying to say anything bad about Paul, but, I credit him for it. And a lot of other people do, too.
What are your initial opinions of Paul Heyman?
I think he's great. When I moved to New York, I didn't know anybody up there. He introduced me to Matt DeMatt. They got me my job at La Barbat. And I even saw him right before I left and moved to Tampa. And, I miss New York so much. I'm moving back in a year because I can't take it down here in Tampa. But, once I finish and get another degree, I'm going back. But Paulie, let me tell you something. He's a good friend. He used to take me out for sushi all the time. Funny guy. And we've known each other for a long time. We used to say we were twins. We're not twins, but we were brother and sister. Separated brothers and sisters, because he's just a cool guy.
Several wrestlers, especially Bret Hart, spoke of Eddie Gilbert's death being something drug-related. Any comments on their comments?
You know what? I don't think it was. And Bret Hart's sure somebody shouldn't be talking about that. I mean, Bret's problems aren't exactly just concussion-related.
Wow.
That's, and if he wants, what is it, don't throw stones.
If you live in a glass house.
Yeah, exactly. So, you shouldn't be saying that. I never saw anything of Eddie. I saw he drank, a little bit, but, people party and they drink and stuff, and he had to take some pain pills because he had a torn shoulder and things, and he'd still keep working because back then, if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So, but I never saw any of that.
Back to wrestling, you did a couple shots for the WWF. What do they have planned for you?
Oh, I was supposed to take over Roddy Piper's Pit, and it was called Missy's Manor, and they weren't that good at all, but I still have them on tape in my new website. I might stream them on the internet for my fans to see.
I've never seen it. I'd love to see it, actually.
Yeah. I'm probably the only one that has copies. I'm sure WWE burned them, or used them over. They weren't even going to waste the tape, I'm sure they taped over those real quick. Because I was really green, and they didn't want to work with me. They wouldn't let me, build it up or be my character. They wanted me to be someone nice. First it was kind of snotty and then nice, but then they wanted me to be nice, and then they were going to change my set. I had a cool set with a couch, and I don't think they gave me enough chance, enough practice to kind of get in there, because I was still green. I'd only been in business a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So.
How did Eddie react being the booker of another territory while you were working with the WWF?
Well, that's what Vince didn't like, because I would call Eddie up and ask him questions, should I do this, should I do that? And like Vince said, I can't compete to your fiancé. And I told him, I go, well, maybe it's not the time I should be here. Maybe I should go and learn a little bit more, and then can I come back? And he said, certainly the door will be open to you all the time, which it wasn't. That was a big statement that never came true, but that's okay. That's okay. I've done pretty well without WWE. I just missed doing a WrestleMania, and I was supposed to do a WrestleMania, I believe, 94. I was going to sing Happy Birthday to WrestleMania in Madison Square Gardens, and I filed my lawsuit in WCW, and I'd call up there. They were like, Missy who? So that didn't take place. But
in the USW...
It's all good. It's all good.
In the USWA, you did a Made for the Day incident with Jerry Lawler. How did you enjoy those skits?
Oh, my gosh. That had to be the best skit I ever did in my life. And I had the long version on tape, and I did one of those fan things in New York, and someone stole it. Because I had the long, 14-minute version that was cut down from TV. We did some most hilarious stuff on that Made for the Day. I mean, the whole toilet scene, the whole thing, me vacuuming the floor, and he's like, it'd help if you'd turn it on. And Jerry Lawler's one of the funniest guys I've ever met. And I think there's a picture of me in his book, which I was so flattered. And he told me the WWF told him to read my book, because my book, the way I had it structured with the chapters, they said was a really great way to do it. So that, to me, was impressive. And at least I still have a couple friends up there, and one that has done favors for me by getting me tickets and signed pictures for a couple of people. But I don't want to mention his name because he's really doing it because we've known each other for a long time, and he's a great person.
How do you get along with Jerry and Jeff Jarrett?
I would get along great with Jeff, and I don't think Jerry liked me too well, because when I left there and went to Continental, I told him I'd rather work at Burger King than work for him. So I think basically he doesn't like me, but, I've wanted to work for that TNA, but they either, I don't think they pay, or they don't fly you in or something. But, I was willing just to go up there because I want everyone to see how great I look now. I look better than I did when I was 25. And it's just eating right, not partying. I haven't partied in months. I work out now. I'm more healthy looking and better looking than I ever have. And I just kind of wanted to go on TV for everyone to see that. But now that my new website's going to be up, everybody will get to see that. So.
We'll absolutely get to that in just a little while.
Okay.
Can't wait to get to that. Dan, you want to take the next one?
Yeah. What memories do you have of the CWF?
I'm sorry, what? We kind of buzzed out there.
Yeah.
What are your memories of the CWF?
Oh, my gosh. Like I said before, some of the great stuff that Eddie did there. I mean, Eddie was so creative. I mean, and he found Shane Douglas. And he found Cactus Jack, Mankind. I mean, we gave Shane Douglas his name.
Yeah.
And then he found Sid Vicious. He brought him there. I mean, he developed some really great talent.
How did you come
We
up?
had some great times.
Sorry to step on you. How did you come up with the name Shane Douglas?
Well, he wanted to call someone Shane, and I was watching the movie Wall Street, and Michael Douglas was such a great heel in that. Oh. And so I just came up with the last name Douglas. He was trying to find a name for him. He was like, I want to name a babyface Shane. And then I was like, ooh, Shane. I'm like, and that popped in my head, Douglas. And I was hoping we could make him one of the Douglases, you know, like that was his dad, just to give him like kind of a gimmick, but that never happened.
How'd you get along with Tom Pritchard?
Wonderful. One of the best guys in the whole wide world. And I got to work with him at one of the Brian Pillman Memorials, and we were laughing. It was like, seems like old times, because I got to manage him in CWF. One of the best workers, you know, and I'm sure if you read my book, you know that we had a quick little affair. And he was just a wonderful guy.
Daniel?
What led to you and Eddie going back to WCW?
Okay, now you're breaking up, Daniel. What was that again?
Seems to be the reception on my phone, even though it's a
I know, yeah, it's the reception.
Okay, I blame it on being in England. What led to you and Eddie going back to WCW?
Oh, well, you know what? He ran his thing in CWF, and, you know, he's having creative problems with David Woods, who was the owner of the company. And so Dusty gave him a call, said, I've seen what you've been doing in CWF. You want to come back? You want to come to WCW? You know, it's getting bought by Ted Turner. We can use your brain. We can use your talent. And so we kind of went as a package deal. I kind of weaseled into that myself, though. You know, because Eddie was going to get a whole big contract, but then they gave him a little bit less so they could pay me. But we were still making the same as, like, the contracts, but it was just together. But Eddie was cool about that.
How did you get along with Ric Flair?
You know, I used to think we got along really great, and I think maybe today we do. You know, I've seen him at a couple of Brian Pillman shows. He's been very nice to me. But I just remember the one time that he thought I yelled at him backstage in front of everybody and took me off TV, and I had too much respect for him to do that. And he has no idea that I really do respect the older people and the people that have made wrestling what they have. And maybe it's because I've matured a lot, but I've always respected Ric Flair, and I don't think he really realized that.
Months later, you used as an announcer more than anything else. Was there any story behind you being more behind the microphone than in the ring?
You know what? I just think that WCW really doesn't know how to use girls, as the WWE still do not know how to use girls. They put them in bra and panties matches. They don't really do any angles. Now they have them wrestling, which if you talk to 9 out of 10 people, don't think women should be trying to wrestle like guys. And if you had your choice, if you saw a wrestling match between 2 girls or a cat fight, you know, like, or cat fight kind of things that me and Sunshine and Dark Journey did, I think guys would prefer a cat fight. Because girls trying to wrestle like men aren't any good, and I just don't think WCW or WWE ever really know how to use girls. They did do a great thing with Sunny, but Sunny had so much talent in her, I mean, hard not for her to get over. But I don't think really WCW knew, and they kept changing angles and changing this, so it was kind of a safer and as a matter of fact, better job, except when I had to work with Eric Bischoff on the C show, like the Canadian show, and he couldn't close the interview to save his life, and we'd have to do take over take because he really stunk and was the biggest a-hole in the whole entire world. But, you know, that's a whole nother story.
What is your memory of the, I guess it was a parody of sorts on the story of the incident with the Stan Hansen?
Yes, well, so I was trying to get that. It was after we took it was a parody off the Patriots when the lady reporter, went into the locker room.
Right.
And the football player exposed himself to her. So they wanted to do a parody of, me trying to get a locker room interview. And so I just kept encountering Stan Hansen. And he kept, swapping at me and spanking me and pull me out of there. And then they really wanted to take it more. I remember Dusty saying they wanted to do a thing with those boxers on and tobacco all out on him. It was so funny.
We mentioned Paul Heyman earlier, and you had a feud with Paul, including an arm wrestling match, mixed tag matches, and there was supposed to be a cage match. What happens that match didn't take place?
Well, I think one of the things is we were supposed to do the last one in Baltimore, Maryland at the Great American Bash.
Right.
And they refused to let a woman in the ring, even though I was just going to run in and pin him. And that's why they had the flatliners carry me out. As a matter of fact, they dropped me on my head. They never really talked about that. After the flatliners, kidnapped me, there was never ending to that. But I didn't even know. You're the first one to tell me there was supposed to be a cage match. So I used to know. I used to kick the dog out of Paul, because I remember my hometown of Tallahassee, he did that rap, because I used PN News or Ron Simmons, and I got they were my partner, and he would do that stupid rap and call me some names, and I told him, I don't care that you do it everywhere, just don't do it. My family's out there, my mom's out there, and he did it anyway. So I kicked him really hard one time. It was like payback. It was a receipt. In wrestling, it's called a receipt. Someone does something bad to you, you give them a receipt.
What are your memory of the bathing suit challenge with Medusa?
All I know is I dieted, and like 2 days before that, I passed out in a hotel lobby because I was working out twice a day and dieting, unlike Medusa, who was shooting up steroids. And to get the muscular legs and stuff, the top of her looked horrible and her legs were too big. But still to this day, I don't really like her because I don't like the remarks she made about Eddie after he passed away. And she called me in New York and she made a very derogatory remark to me. And so basically, if we ever see her again and I have something sharp around me, I'll cut her.
Wow. Okay.
Living in New York, baby, I got a little ghetto with me, and I will just cut that bitch's throat.
Wow. Okay. How did Eric Bischoff treat you?
Like crap, and the same thing goes for him. No, I think right now he's on the street somewhere. I'll announce for food, or I'll run a company for food. I don't know. Who knows what happened to Eric, pissed off. I'm sure he's getting what he deserves. Well, no, he hasn't died yet, but,
Wow.
Death is too good for him. I think he should just be miserable. And he is. He's a very miserable person. Coke addict and a miserable person. And I could say that because I'm so happy now. My life is happy, and I don't really, I really don't dislike anyone. There's a couple of people that did, when they do something bad to someone that I love and care about, then I hold a grudge. They can do whatever they want to me because I just blow it off. It doesn't really matter to me. But when I see how it affects somebody that I care about, then that's the reason I don't like them. Isn't that weird? I don't know why I'm that way, but they can abuse me or whatever, and it doesn't faze me. But just don't hurt somebody I care about, because then the fangs come out.
You managed the Nasty Boys. Do you have any memories from that time?
Oh gosh. Well, they weren't. That wasn't exactly my first tag team that I really wanted to manage, and I really was supposed to go with the Hollywood Blondes, which would have been so much more appropriate,
right?
Because I just moved back from West Hollywood, California, and it would have been so much perfect for me to go with them. But they stuck me with the Nasty Boys, and they didn't really like having me around. They wouldn't let me talk during the interviews, and they really kind of ignored me a lot, except when one of them would get hurt and I'd have to jump in and stop the finish or save something. But other than that, I don't think they ever really wanted to work with me either.
You dated Road Warrior Hawk. Did you enjoy your time with him, and any thoughts on his recent passing?
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm glad I didn't go to the funeral because I heard it was all about that born-again Christian stuff. But I wanted to go really bad, but I talked to my mom. My mom's like, Yeah, I haven't talked. I saw him a couple years ago up in Long Island at a wrestling show, and it seemed like me and Hawk always dated every 10 years. You know, 81 or 82, 92. So I mean, we were already late this year, but not that I would ever have gone out with him again. He was a wonderful guy, and I think he was only one of the guys that's ever broke up with me in my life. And he said that when he broke up with me, I wasn't upset. I was just upset that he did it first, which is kind of funny. And I remember, I was growling. But you know what, Hawk, it seems to me all the good people have just passed away that didn't deserve it.
Just going to throw a name out there. Did you ever get to meet Miss Elizabeth?
Yes, I sure did.
How'd you go?
Lovely lady. And when I heard about what happened to her, I was in shock, in total disbelief and in shock that it would have been a drug overdose. And I still don't believe it to this day.
We had Jake Roberts on the show, like we said, and he gave us quite a few things that I think his words were, we pissed off quite a few people. One of the things he said...
He didn't say anything bad about me now, did he?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. Did you ask him about me?
I think if I recall, his exact words were, he was one of your first teachers.
Yeah, he's right about that. We used to sit up all night when he was booking Georgia Championship Wrestling, and he taught me a lot. He was my first he taught me more about the wrestling business than, well, Eddie came along and taught me even more, but, yeah, and he tried to get me a job in world-class wrestling as a valet, even. He called out there and tried to get me a job that Baby Doll took.
My question was, one of the controversial things he said actually got us in trouble with a certain wrestling organization that shall remain nameless. He said something about Lex Luger and Miss Elizabeth, and just wondering if you had heard anything or had any opinion on, I guess you kind of can figure out what I'm going for.
The only thing I would know is that it was just funny how she ended up down at the bottom of the stairs. And I know that on Easter they called domestic violence, and she had a black eye.
His exact words were, "How many people have I killed?" If you're just wondering what Jake said. So. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Jake hasn't killed anyone. Poor thing's only killing himself. But I heard he's straightened up and he's not doing drugs anymore. And I hope to God that's true. And he's living in England.
Yep.
He's got a very nice lady that he's living with.
Yes.
And I just hope to God he does straighten up, because you know what? He is one of the smartest minds in wrestling. And I didn't really know Lex Luger that well, because Lex is so much of an egomaniac. Sometimes he'd stand in front of me with that little rope thing, the elastic thing, and try to pump up in front of me.
Right.
And my only problem was, we used to do the Lex game and take a drink every time he touched himself in the ring during his match. It was a better way to get drunk, boy. You just take a shot every time. We couldn't even do shots anymore. It was just, take a drink of wine or any kind of liquor, and you'd be drunk by the end of his match, because he always wanted to play with himself. But, I don't know how that pertains to Miss Elizabeth, but I don't know how she got hooked up with somebody like that. So.
On A Flair for the Gold, they always teased an angle for a couple weeks about you wanting to talk to Flair, and it never really went anywhere.
You know what?
What?
And that's another thing I was thinking about the other day. I don't know why. I was thinking about dumb angles that never ended in anything, and that was another one. I was like, now, why did I chase Flair and I had to ask him something? I mean, I got frisked by a police officer. I was trying to chase his limo. I got thrown out of his limo, and I kept running to him, trying to get to him, and got thrown out of places. And for what? We never know what I wanted to ask him, and I still don't know what it is. That's a good trivia thing. Someone please tell me what I had to ask him.
What are your thoughts?
Milo? Stop that. Okay, sorry, my little dog, he likes to bark.
Sad question to ask you. How is Sasha?
Oh, Sasha, you know what? She's old.
She's still alive, though?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
15 years old. She's laying right. I got this big, fluffy, white, long-haired rug. She's just passed out on it right now, sleeping. And she's lost a little weight. She's blind in one eye, and she's deaf. But you know what? She's still around. Everybody jokes, they're like, that dog's still alive. But, yeah, and then I have a new one that I saved because this guy abused him, and for a couple years, but I've had him for a year. Little Jack Russell. He's my little baby.
Jack Russell? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got little short legs and big head.
Yeah.
And he's a little love baby. He's so sweet. I guess it just took someone being nice to him because this other guy really abused him. I stole him.
Next question I have for you is, what are your thoughts and memories of the oops incident when you, I don't know how to word this, fell out of your dress, I guess?
Well, you know what? I remember Hawk going, kayfabe your boob, you know? And I remember throwing it back in. I had no idea someone got a picture of it. And someone made color copies of 11 by 14s and had them hung up everywhere. I mean, that was so embarrassing, and it was so, like, big deal. They saw half of my boob. Why they want to make it such a big deal? You know, it's just a bunch of pervs, and it made me mad. And I asked for an apology, and I asked for the negative, and, you know, Eric wouldn't do anything about it. No.
What led you being fired from WCW?
Oh, you know, we were down here in Orlando doing a TV taping, and I guess I asked too many questions. The basic thing is one of the higher-ups asked me how I liked the Clash of Champions. There's a Clash of the Champions when I got kissed by Max Payne and Mankind. And what happened was they got the pin after the count. And on the replay, they didn't see that. The fans didn't see that. But on the replay, instead of showing that Max and him got the 3 count right after the 10 count or right after the bell, that people would want to pay on Sunday night at the pay-per-view, because that's what Clash of the Champions were, get you ready for the pay-per-view, to see them take the belts, because if they could win there and in no time limit, they should be able to win. And instead on the replay, they showed the 2 guys kissing the blonde girl. So I made a remark about that. I mean, it's me getting the TV time, but I was like, you know, that's kind of stupid. I didn't say stupid, but I was like, you know, they should have shown them getting the count if you want to sell a pay-per-view. And just because my brains in this wrestling business is what got me in trouble in my mouth, because I was always told to keep my mouth shut. So, you know, someone's going to tell me, what do you think of something? Instead of being an idiot on the wall, you know, I do have a brain, so I told what I thought. And because I went over his head, he got just a little upset. Especially when you're right.
After you left WCW, how was your life changed?
You know what? A lot better. I wish I could have gone to the WWF and had a run up there. It would have made kind of my career complete. But maybe because I didn't, it's kind of good, because then I wouldn't have been used up and, you know, taken advantage of or whatever. Not really taken advantage of, but just kind of used and thrown away. And at least I've kept my name out there. I've done well with all the other ventures that I've gone into, and they've all been a success. So my book, going to college, my website, everything. And, you know, it's made me the person I am today, and I'm happy. And so maybe it was a good idea that I didn't get to go up there.
What can you tell us about your...
Never know.
What can you tell us about your lawsuit with WCW?
I can only say, really, that I told you kind of the gist of it, but, you know, it came to a conclusion in December of, 96, I believe?
Right.
And I was extremely happy with the conclusion. I mean, I don't think, there's not a WCW around anymore, and even though I signed a piece of paper saying I couldn't discuss it, but basically they paid me off.
Daniel?
What were your impressions of ECW when you went in?
You know, it was fun. It was a great place, but I think I was so mean to Scotty Raven, and we just he found out why I was so mad at him. And he would never put us in the angles because I was so mean to him. I called him Booker Man, Finish Man, can't even come up for a finish for the girls. And I always laugh at his finishes. And so he hated me. And then just this October, Halloween, we had a big talk, and I told him why I was upset with him. And he's like, well, I wish I would have known that about 5 years ago. I was like, I'm sorry, you know. And we hugged, and everything's great now. And I call him my telephone shrink, because anytime I have a problem, I can call Scotty up, and he really helps me. And, you know, I like ECW, but it became a job, and it wasn't fun, and that's one of the reasons why I left. Because I wanted to have fun. It's not like I needed the money. I didn't need to work. And now when I do wrestling, like I work once a month for the Funks, for their Bang TV taping, and I do it because I love the business. You know, and she wouldn't even have to pay me, and I would do it because, you know, I know that's a bad thing to say because I've never worked for free in my life. And that's what I try to tell my niece, Michelle, that's starting this business. I told her, whether you get paid $25 or whatever, you must get paid, because if you ever work for free, they're always going to think they can get you for free. And I know there's so many guys out there that just want the, you know, experience, that they'll work for free. And they'll hand out tickets and do all that other stuff. I mean, going out and selling tickets is a great thing, but working for free is not. Because then people always think they can get you for free.
When you first entered ECW, you did a sexual harassment angle with Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
Was that a parody of your stint with
WCW?
WCW?
Of course. See, when he came out and stuffed the papers in my bra?
Yeah.
Or my little top I was wearing? Of course it was. It was a complete parody, and we were going to take it even farther. But we didn't really get to, but we were going to really take it farther. And bring in, like, lawyers and do some stuff, and bring in a fake Bischoff and do some other things, which would have been fun.
What was your relation like with the Sandman off the camera?
Great. He was a great guy until like the end, until his wife came back and started wanting to do things and wanting to be in and want to be a part of the angle and stuff, because she was jealous, because she was thinking there was some kind of, you know, sexual thing going on with us. And I'm just like, no. I mean, the guy could take about 5 showers, and I still, you know. If so. Plus, he was a mark to me. Missy Hyatt, oh my gosh, you know. So that's not a turn on.
Okay, a question that's been sent in by quite a few people on our chat forum, so you may not want to answer. But they asked about Paul Varlins and how you got him to tack out the tag.
Okay, I had to promise him sex. I did it for the business. You know, Paul Lee called me. He's like, listen, Paul Varlins doesn't want to do the job to the midget. What's his name?
Taz.
Taz, the midget.
Taz. Yes.
And so, you know, I did all that. I had to put up my body and tell him that I would have sex with him and lead him to believe, you know, like hanging all over him and doing that stuff, that we were going to go fool around if he would just go ahead and do the job, and how great it wouldn't hurt his career in the Ultimate Fighting, because everyone knows wrestling's at work, and he didn't want to do it because, you know, Taz is like so short, and that he thought it would hurt his career, and people wouldn't, you know, it's a work, and they would think he was fake and all that stuff. But anyway, I got him to do it. And he did it, and then he comes back, and he goes, hey, Missy, we're going back to the hotel. I was like, I don't fuck jabronis. So, basically, yeah, I'm sorry if I used that word.
You're allowed to say whatever you like on this show.
Oh, okay, great. Well, she might have been cussing from the beginning. No, I'm just kidding. And so, I never even got a thank you from the midget. I'm like, if it wasn't for me, Paul Varlins would have never tapped out to him. Because Paul kept saying, the guy's a little, blah, 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 blah. He's not, and plus he's not so tough as he thinks he is. So, and he never even said thank you to me, which goes to show me that he has no respect for anybody in this business.
We recently had Rob Van Dam on the show, and he said that Taz has made a complete 180 compared to what he was in ECW. He said he was complete, I think his words were pretty much what you called him, an asshole in ECW, and now that he's went to the WWE, he's been humbled. Have you spoken to him?
Really?
Have you spoken to him recently?
You know what? No, I haven't spoken to him, but let me tell you something. The only thing that would change my mind about him, if he would call me up and say thank you, because I helped his career out, and I did it for the business, and I did it to help get him over, even though I really didn't like him, but Paul asked me to do it. And that's the kind of, yeah, he was humble, fine, but, you know, really doesn't, I don't even think about him. He's no consequences if my is good or bad, and, you know, people bring up the Paul Garland thing, and I more laugh about poor Paul, so no biggie.
Why did you leave ECW?
Like I said, it just wasn't becoming fun anymore, and the wife of Sandman wanted to come back and be a part of the angle, and when they brought the kid in there, and I didn't think it was right to have a child in the ring. So I just pulled up and left.
You had a very brief stay with the AWF. Any memories of that?
No, not really. The only thing I do remember is that the announcer, Ken Resnick, was wonderful to work with. He so worked with me. We did the TV tapings down in Florida. I mean, he was very patient and worked with me, especially when I had to do this live interview, and I kept getting the names wrong when I had to throw it back to the announcer table. And he was just wonderful with me. So I really respect him a lot.
In 1999, I remember going to a hot dog shop and seeing a flyer for a wrestling event and then eventually going to see the event. It was supposed to be a Missy Hyatt against Kimoni Wanalea strip match. What happened?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, what happened?
We had that match, and we kind of stripped down, and I didn't have a bra on, so, but they were riding because she just went down to her bra and panties, so I kind of like took the cat suit off and held my hands over my breasts, and that picture's probably made every internet site, which is, it's stupid, but, yeah, that's it.
You also had a brief stay with XPW. Do you have any memories from your time there?
Yeah, Rob Black is a thief because he made those videos with me in it, and I never got a dime, and I never signed anything. But, you know, when I was out there that one time, me and Big Dick Dudley went to Gene Simmons' birthday party. I took Big Dick, and we had a great time. But Big Dick, the funniest thing was, he gives Gene an autographed picture of himself for his birthday. I'll never forget that. Gene was like, oh, all right. And I got to meet Shannon, you know, his long-time living lady. And she was very polite and beautiful.
There's a story going around, and I saw pictures of it, and I never really understood the angle, of you with a championship belt. Could you explain that to us?
Oh, yeah. I won that in Canada. I was the first woman to ever win a man's title. And it was the Falls Count. It was a mixed tag match with Sherry Martel, Misbehaving, and I do not remember the other person's name, but it was Falls Count. You know, the winner of the fall, the winner gets the belt. There was some winner of the fall. I forget what it was, and I won. So I got the belt for a whole glorious, I believe, 3 weeks. But I did get it before anybody else, and that does make me the first lady, so, of just everything.
In 2001, you made a brief appearance with ECW doing their one pay-per-view. How did that come to be?
I was there visiting everybody, and Paul said, hey, will you do this? And I was like, sure, plug my book, I'll do it. And so I just did it as a goof, because they wanted to make a joke that Justin Credible was in the bathroom with me.
Right.
You know, and Francine's like, oh, yeah, he's in there with Missy Hyatt, and Steve Carino and stuff, so. And I got to say the funny thing to Jack Victory.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was the first time to get to cuss on pay-per-view, you know, on TV like that, so I was like, hell yeah, I'll do that.
The rumors were, and this was sent in by a guy named Rusty Brooks, he wants to know, the rumors were that you were kept insisting on calling Steve Carino a jabroni during a match. Is there any story behind why?
No, see, I got mad at him because after that, he went on a radio or internet thing and he said it was because it was an angle, but, like, I wasn't working an angle with him, and he made a remark, like, I would never read her book. She's a has-been, and he made kind of remarks to me. So I remember being at a show down somewhere, I guess, in North Carolina. And it wasn't Philly, but it was somewhere more south than New York and Philly. And I remember he was there, and someone got it on tape. I put a promo on him, and I poked him in the chest, and I called him a jabroni and I mean, I went off on him. But then later on, everything was smooth over after, he apologized, and he was in that dressing room. He was like, stuttering. I mean, he wasn't going to do anything to me. So I am fearless.
All right, now we're going to get into the more recent stuff, and I know this is why you came in. What led to you deciding to do Wrestling Vixens?
For money. It was an idea I had to do for a long time that I wanted to do. And me and my nephew were going to do it, but we just really, he couldn't do it out of Leon County, the county. It was against the law to have pictures like that hosted. So, but he was still our webmaster, and he had everything on backup computer. So when I decided that it had run its time, my business partner stole over $200,000 from me and Tammy. And HighSpots.com and Sal are still selling the DVDs illegally. High Spots, they have stolen merchandise that they're selling, which they're going to be getting in a lot of trouble for, because I have a new lawyer now. My other lawyer was out of Pennsylvania and really couldn't do anything, but the federal government, is looking into the money laundering, and I think it's like he did enough crimes to make it the RICO statute, because it was theft by deception, money laundering, and a couple other ones. So, and High Spots will get dragged into it because they made checks out to Sal and sent them to his home instead of making them out to Phoenix International, my company. So basically, they made one check like a year ago to Phoenix, and then the last two checks, over $15,000, went to Sal in his name. So if they didn't know they were doing something wrong, then they must be idiots. I mean, they must be purely stupid idiots. So, they'll get it back. They're going to have to give back that they haven't used, plus they're going to have to pay me money. So I want everyone to know, do not buy anything from High Spots, because especially any Vixen stuff, because it's all illegally. It's been stolen. Stolen merchandise.
Do you feel the Vixen site ever went too far?
No, I don't think it went far enough. I mean, that's why we got Christy Miss and some of the other people. And I wasn't going to do it. Tammy wasn't going to do it. We didn't have to do it. And I think it just kind of ran out of girls. And I think people, it wasn't even an expensive site. But we had so many people that just liked to complain.
Right.
And they drove my poor nephew crazy, the webmaster. And plus, at the end, my business partner stole my computer out of my house and did some other bad things. And so that's why I'm starting my new site.
And what is your new site going to be?
MissyHyatt.tv.
And who's going to be on that?
I'm on it. Francine, the Queen of Extreme. She's got a little part in it, too. And she's going to be in some episodes with me, and she's going to do some very risque pictures. And, hopefully we'll see Francine in a different light, and you're going to see me in totally different that you've never expected before. It's kind of a off-take of the Osbournes. But every day you're going to get a new episode. And it'll be very current, up-to-date, except for the ones I'm putting in the can right now. Because when we launch it on January 1st, there's going to be about 15 shows in the can. And then every day there's going to be a new episode downloaded or put on the site.
And how much is this going to cost?
We're kicking around like $12. It's not going to be expensive. I mean, but it's going to be something entertaining. It's not just going to be pictures or streaming video of us dancing. I mean, not that I don't dance and goofy and do stuff. I have all my friends are on it. I'm usually sitting in my house doing something goofy. And, me, I can talk. And it doesn't matter if anyone's around. I can just talk, and especially if there's a camera on me. Please, I can talk for friggin', an hour. It's just about anything. So.
Right. As proven by this interview.
Right.
Right.
A question came in from a few of our visitors. Pretty much the same people that asked the question up there about Taz and Paul Varlin. They said they've heard a lot from Rob Feinstein, but apparently said that they all heard Rob say that you were not so great in bed, and that's that's an exact quote.
Rob said that? Well, you know what, let me tell you something about Rob Feinstein. He had a chance to sleep with me, and it just goes to prove that he is gay, because I was swimming in his heated pool, completely naked, got in his bed, and he couldn't get it up. And he had these really ugly black oversized condoms that kept falling off his penis. That just goes to show you he has no penis. And he was so intimidated by me. He shows me a photo album since he was like 12 years old of Polaroids when I met him. Like, he kept this photo album with like Polaroids that had meeting wrestling stars. And I remember I laid out in his pool and I said, "So you got all this from stealing from the wrestlers?" You know, because he steals videotape and everything of wrestlers and wrestling shows. I said, "You got this all from stealing off of professional wrestling." And he couldn't say anything, and I just think I intimidated him. But as for sleeping with me, he would not have any idea. He chose to sleep with Christy Misk, somebody that has slept with a zillion guys and has done the most disgusting things I have ever seen on film. So maybe that's his type of woman.
Of course, with the Vixens, you were with Tammy Sitch, and the rumours that she just didn't turn up for one of your photo shoots or something. But how do you get along with Tammy now?
You know, I love the girl, and I've been trying to get in touch with her, but I think she's down in Puerto Rico because I want her to be a part of this lawsuit. Because when I found out that Sal Namoya, the guy that was my business partner, embezzled all this money, he not only stole from me, but he stole from Tammy, and he stole money from all the girls. But he used to play like make me the bad guy, even though I never had access to write a check. And at the end, he was writing checks for his new FIP wrestling company out of the membership money. So if there's members out there in the last 2 months of Wrestling Vixens, no one ever got paid because Sal used it to buy T-shirts and grams. Everyone that he had anything to do with, everybody's left him because they found out that he's a scam artist and he's a thief. So basically, I'm apologizing to all the members because they all think that I like owned it, me and Tammy did, and it wasn't true. I mean, he still owns the name because he was taking money that he was supposed to be investing in other things for like me and Tammy, and he kept it all for himself, and our names weren't on anything. So we both got screwed big time.
Actually, Tammy just did a show in New York, USA Pro, so she might be in the country if you can get in contact with her.
Oh, good. I hope so. I left a message at Chris's house because I don't think they had a number. You know, they were in Puerto Rico, so I left a message there, but they haven't called me, so I hope I do get in touch with them.
All right.
One of my best friends I've ever had in this business.
Cool. Do you mind if we close out with some word associations? Basically, just throwing you a name. If you have a story, you can share the story. If you just have a couple, sentences that you want to say, you just go ahead, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Okay. First name for you is Kevin Sullivan.
When he dies, I'll dance on his grave.
Paul Heyman.
My brother separated. We were separated at birth.
Jason Hervey.
Best boyfriend I ever had.
Scott Putski.
Like I said before, having sex with him was like driving a Ferrari with a Volkswagen engine. It looks pretty, it looks good, but when you're time to rev it up, it just stutters, and there ain't nothing there.
Tommy Rich.
First guy in this business I ever gave a blowjob to. But back then he was hot. Okay, I have to clarify that. In the early 80s, Tommy Wildfire Rich was Wildfire.
We got one submitted by Diesel, and I don't know if there's anything here at all, but Jason Giambi.
Oh, yeah. Me and Jason Giambi, when he was out playing for the Oakland A's, had a brief but wonderful fling.
Val Venus.
Oh, God, the shortest sex I ever had in my whole entire life. And he still tells people that we didn't have sex. And I have pictures of him in my apartment with my hair all messed up and him looking all messed up. And that was just the lamest nothing happening. Fastest thing I ever had in my life.
Kid Kash.
Fuck of the century.
Well, Taz.
Taz?
Yeah.
He's a midget. And he has no respect.
I saw another interview you did, and you called Beulah a douchebag.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
Well, I was putting a calendar together for ECW, and I went through elaborate extremes. I mean, makeup artists, photographers. I mean, I changed everything around my apartment to use it. I really put a lot of thought, a lot of money, a lot of effort in this, a lot of Paul's money. And all she did was bitch from the beginning to the end and complain. She didn't want to wear garters. And, like, you know, the G-string and garters, even though it wasn't going to show her ugly butt. And she was so mean to Francine. She was so upset when Francine was getting a push and she wasn't, because she was so thinking it was all about her. She had no idea that she's just the most disgusting pig that ever lived. At least I didn't go in Cherry Magazine and friggin' put everything in every orifice of my body.
Miss Patricia.
Well, I helped pay for her liposuction, and it took me 4 years to get my money back. And she got fat again afterwards, so I don't think it really helped.
I'm not sure how you're going to react to this one. Trent Acid.
Ooh, what a little hot, little, He's so hot, he's smoking.
There was something I read on the internet about a year ago that he said he was, I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but he said he was with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, a couple times. We were in a limousine one time, boy, and everybody came out to look because that thing was shaking. I molested him. I mean, I'll go right on record saying, yes, I forced myself on him. But he stood up to the challenge, and he took it like a man.
Terry Taylor.
I really don't know him. He was the best man at my wedding with Eddie, but, you know, I haven't really seen or talked to him in a long time.
Kerry Von Erich.
He was hot, smoking. He was another hottie. Very handsome guy, very nice guy.
I was going to throw this in a road association, but I heard a lot of stories about ribs that the Steiner brothers pulled on you.
Oh, they were horrible.
Could you share one with them?
Oh, yeah. One, they locked poor Sasha girl in the locker. There was like 50 lockers in this locker room. And they put a padlock on it. And I was going around looking for her. Sasha girl, and I heard her in there. So I had to get the fire department to come with the lock cutters to get her out of there. And she was all stuffed in a locker, poor little thing.
Dan, would you like to take a couple?
We've got a few more. One, Sting.
Sting? He was really nice when I was working with him, and we were all making the same amount of money, but once he went to WCW and became a big star, he didn't have time to talk to the little people.
Stevie Richards.
And now he's some kind of born-again Christian, which I don't understand. Born again. Does that mean you can be born again a whole bunch of times? Or like Raven said, well, excuse me for getting it right the first time. You know, I mean, can you be born again like 3 or 4 times, and, you know, each time can you screw up and then get born again? I don't know. Anyway, something like an evangelical divorce sister, just born again and born again.
Let me ask you about this. You said in a recent interview that you became Jewish in religion.
I've always been Jewish.
Have you? You said
I've always really been Jewish.
Oh.
No, I just started telling people that I was and outed myself. But I was always told by Eddie and even Jake that I shouldn't tell people I was Jewish because wrestling is very, you know, they make fun of Paul about him being Jewish, and they would say a lot of nasty things behind his back about him being Jewish. And, you know, I'm not racist. You know, and I was never raised that way, and just because my religious belief is something, you know, different, then I shouldn't be stereotyped.
Next name I've got for you, Stevie Richards.
Stevie Richards, he's a great guy. I like him. We had our disagreements a while back, but like I said, everything, and he gave me a great quote from my book, and I will always appreciate that.
What quote was that?
It was, on the back of my book, he said something about I hated him, but it was because I wanted him, and I would never, and, Big Stevie something wouldn't fess it up, or something cute like that. It was funny. It was a great quote, though.
I got it in my bookshelf, so if I have to, I'll pull it off with a recap and say what it is.
Yeah, pull it off and you can read it for us.
Okay.
Jim Ross?
He was my friend and my mentor, and a really, really, really good guy. Stand-up guy.
Eric Bischoff?
Asshole. Asshole.
And the final one I've got is Francine.
One of the coolest women in the entire universe. I love her. She has just been one of the a real true friend. And I really don't have a lot of female friends, but she is one of my true female friends.
3 final questions to close out. Best rib you ever pulled?
Best rib I ever pulled? Well, this was before cell phones. I hid Paulie's briefcase and blamed it on Tony Schiavone. He had to cancel all his airline, all his credit cards, and everything like that. Until this day, I don't think he knows that I was the one that did it. But oops, if you found out, Paulie, I was the one that did it up in. It was a TV taping north of Atlanta where he used to always do the TV taping at, and I hid it in one of the rooms that had a podium, and I stuck it under the podium, and I kind of blamed Tony for it. Oh, and then Jason Hervey used to put shaving cream. Every time Jason was there, he'd get shaving cream and put him in Elegante's boots.
Wow. That would take a lot of shaving cream, actually.
I know. Basically, you'd have to get a couple cans. But he would do it every time, because he would go in the guy's dressing room, and he'd see those big old boots, and we would stop. We'd make it a point to stop and get some shaving cream.
Any regrets?
I didn't get my Missy doll, those bastards, but it's a regret. I never got a doll.
Oh. And the final question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, hopefully back in New York City, working as an accountant at a geeky job, married to this hot Italian guy that I met in October up there, who kidnapped me and took me to the Bogota Hotel, the new one in Atlantic City that is so hot he's smoking. And he's kind of famous, so I don't want to say his name because it'll jinx it, but hopefully married to him and having a kid. Because I sure want to procreate with this guy. I'll mix my gene pool. The only guy I found that I will, actually mix my gene pool with.
Actually, those who don't know, my nickname is the Glam Slam King of Noise, and I basically am into 80s metal. And I heard a rumor that you were married to a former member of Danger Danger.
No, I just went out with him. And that was, Tommy Shaw. He was in Styx.
Right.
And, we dated for a while. He's a really nice guy. Now he's cut off all his hair, and I think Styx are back on tour. So, and I had his assistant's phone number for a long time, and me and my girlfriend, she was going out with Jack Blade, so we kind of went on their tour bus and kind of went around with them to a bunch of shows and just had a blast.
Cool. Excellent. We can't thank you enough for this interview.
No, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Let me plug my new website.
Go for it.
So much.
I was just about to do it for you. So, MissyHyatt.tv. Check
Yeah,
out when
MissyHyatt.tv, and it should be launching at the first of the year.
Excellent.
Excellent. If you have a press release for us to release for you, my partner Daniel is pretty much on all the websites. So if you have a press release when that comes out, if you want to shoot us an email, we'll absolutely put it everywhere that we possibly can.
I'll probably have Francine call you because I still have email. I'm waiting to get my new computer, so.
All right, cool.
I know. I feel like I'm naked without a computer, but,
Okay, Francine's friend, Bobby, who I guess is like her manager or something. She always emails me stuff. So if you just send her like a press release that you want us to put up, I can even write it up for you guys and promote it for you.
Yeah, you can write it up. That's
Sure.
fine. Yeah, Francine's involved, and me and all my friends, and it's like basically a wrestling takeoff of the Osbournes.
Excellent.
And I'm the first one to do it, so everyone else that comes to do it after me, that just shows I am the first lady.
Thank you so much for this interview. This was actually great.
Thank you guys for having me.
Enjoying what you're hearing? Be sure and check out WrestlingEpicenter.com on social media at Facebook.com/WrestlingEpicenter, on Twitter at James Epicenter, and of course, WrestlingEpicenter.com for 24-hour news updates, our interview archives, and all the other information you've come to expect from the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey, this is the Queen of Extreme, Francine, and you are listening to the Interactive Interview.
The magic's in my head, I can't understand, but I still like my chances, and it doesn't really matter to me, I take my stand, but I still like my chances. Ow! No, 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 no.
Welcome back to the Interactive Interview. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
We just spent an hour and a half on the phone with Missy Hyatt.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, I feel special right now. That was a great... Oh. No particular reason, just a long-time crush on this lady. Wow. She still looks great, and I'm going to have to send you a picture, a recent one that I found of her to put on the archive section. Check it out. This is what she looks like now. Still gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous. Anyway, fantastic interview. Hour and a half. I mean, who the hell else is going to give you that?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Who could?
Nobody. And the weird thing is, she didn't even seem annoyed.
No. No, I mean, obviously she was going to work sometime after the interview that we, when we finish the interview. But, yeah, she said that we called it at the time that was arranged, and she'd give us her undivided attention. And exactly what she did for an hour and a half.
Fantastic, I thought. Fantastic. There was a couple times there when I think she was getting changed in the middle of the interview. You know why?
Why?
Because she kept hitting, like, the phone button. You don't remember this part, do you?
No.
There was part in the middle of the... she was saying something, and all of a sudden it was boop, boop, like every other word, and then you hit boop. So something goes where she had, like, the phone, like, between her head and shoulder. Yeah, she had, like, the phone between her head and shoulder while she's, like, putting her shoes on or changing her pants or something. I was like, uh-oh. Excuse me while I ponder this image in my mind right now.
I also love the way that pants means something completely different in America to what it does in the UK.
What does it mean in the UK?
Because obviously pants in the US is like trousers or whatever, yeah?
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK it's underwear.
Ah.
So, if we were doing the whole mental visualization thing, I'd be getting a better visualization than you would.
Absolutely, but I think we're both getting a good visualization. One that we're both happy to have.
Well, I checked out the MissyHyatt.tv website yesterday.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have not yet gone.
Pardon? No, because obviously it's not launching until the 1st of January.
Right.
So if you're listening to this in the archive section, then it's 1st of January 2004. So therefore, probably most likely that it's already launched.
Right.
But if you're listening to it when it first goes up, it won't have launched yet. But they haven't got like a welcome, this is coming soon message. They've just got the website how it would be without the content, and just with like random content. Like it has through all the image folders and everything, it's got 2 images just repeated, like over and over.
Any pictures of Francine or Missy?
There's 1 picture of Francine and 2 pictures of Missy.
What's Francine wearing?
Pretty much nothing.
Oh, I'm going to this website as soon as I get off this phone. Pardon me. I'm just being a total pervert tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I've spent the past hour hanging out with them. So.
With who?
Don't worry.
Oh.
Long
Oh, you were at the pub, that's right. Was it the pub this time, or?
Mhm.
Ah.
Mhm.
What did does a bartender know you by name there that you're so often now?
No, because of course I've been in a different county for the past 4 months, haven't I?
Yeah, that explains it. So, like, is this all the friends you used to hang out with that like haven't seen you in a couple months, and now they're hanging out with you every night?
Yeah.
Because for those who don't know, I've been emailing Daniel like every night. Call me when you get home, because we need to do a recap. And I haven't heard from him. So, like, the second I saw him on, I'm like, are you sober? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. So I was like, yeah, we're doing it now then. We got to do it now.
I have been kind of bad, and I'm slacking because I haven't done the Father James Mitchell recap yet.
You haven't yet?
Almost a week, yeah.
Wow, maybe we should promote them together.
Yeah.
Leave them both.
Not together, but like I'll do them one after each other.
Well, yeah, two at a time. But maybe you should leave the latest shows, like we did with B.G. James and Don Callis a couple months back.
Yeah. Could do.
But make sure Missy gets like top billing, because that's like the ultimate. So Daniel, let me ask you this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would you pay $12.99 to see a pro wrestling version of the Osbournes?
I'd do it once, and depending on whether I liked it or not. Because, I mean, the Osbournes sort of thing that I wouldn't pay to see.
Right.
I don't like the Osbournes as a show. But if it was a wrestling version, it might captivate me slightly more. If you see what I mean.
Well, here's my theory about the Osbournes. I think it's a funny show, but I've only seen a couple of them, and I really don't regret not seeing the entire series.
Mm. That's kind of what I feel.
Like, I liked seeing it. Now, what I want to know is, and this is what you should have talked about, and this is what I have to find out when I do the press release come January 1st, is what exactly is the $12.99 going to cover? Is it going to be just the website for like a certain amount of shows that you can download, or for a certain amount of time period, or does that just cover one show? Because if it covers a lot of episodes, I mean, if you get like a month's worth, and that's like, I don't know, 10 episodes, then that's not too bad for, $12.99. Plus, she was talking about putting her WWF segments on this show, on their site, so that would be interesting to see, since I've never seen it, and I've seen everything. So I thought that would be interesting to see. But if it's just like a couple shows, I don't know. I'd still probably want to see it, but I don't know if I'd want to order it every single week, if that's what they're going to do, like weekly. Because, I mean, with TNA being $10 a week, that's a lot of money. At the same rate, for Francine in a bikini, or whatever the hell she's going to be wearing. $12.99. I'd pay.
Like nothing to you, did it?
Yes, I'd pay quite a bit more for that. Yes.
Oh dear.
She's just. If there's like one person on the planet that I just go, that's just perfect, it's her. I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. She's just gorgeous.
Oh dear, and of course, while James is ogling over Francine,
Yeah.
of course she was a past guest in the interactive interview, so of course you can listen to that interview and read it in the archives section.
Award-nominated interview.
Exactly.
I don't know if it won.
I really mean keeping up. Well, he should be.
We should be paying attention, like what awards our show gets, but at the same rate, we kind of have our own award show going on, so we're more interested in that.
Exactly.
And for those who don't know, would you like to explain it?
We're running, of course, the interactive interviews, our own personal awards for the entire of our first year. And I personally kind of, like, on my own back one night, just decided to do this, and I handpicked, I think it was 20 interviews.
20 interviews, yes.
Out of the 50 so amount we did.
55 this would be.
Yeah.
But this is not included.
Missy Hyatt is not included.
Neither was James Mitchell. So I guess it would be 53.
Exactly. Out of those, I handpicked 20.
Right.
And I pretty much assumed that, like 6 or 7 would be, like, the top contenders.
Right.
And I was right. I wasn't necessarily right on which particular ones are the top contenders.
Which are the top contenders?
I can't say, because if I say that, then it might influence other people's votes.
Oh, okay.
So, but of course, the ones that were nominated for the end of year awards on other websites were Francine, New Jack, and Jake the Snake.
And I thought David Penzer was as well.
And David Penzer, yeah. Which aren't necessarily the ones that are at the top of this, our own polls. So, not to give it away too much, but then, put it this way.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Those 4, if you put them together, would only be at sort of a 5 level. If you get what I mean, like, as a bulk package in our end of year awards.
Right.
2 of them are doing okay, and 2 of them aren't. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. But, yeah. Check out the interactiveinterview.com. There is a post on the news board there.
Right.
Has all of the award nominees. Has an easy... All you do is you click a link and you press send.
Right. You just send
You have to fill the email out because the link automatically includes your vote in the subject line.
Right.
And all that happens is I count up, I go through my email box, I put them all into what I put them, I'm putting them all into one folder. I go through, filter it by subject line, and count, right, first one, like BG Games, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 75 votes, BG Games, whatever, etc. Next one, like Jake Snake, 1,200 votes, whatever.
Right, whatever ridiculous number. I think Jake's going to be putting one of the, if it's not going to win, it's going to be really damn close. That was just a fantastic interview.
We're coming, I accidentally lost 102 votes, thanks to Hotmail. Because Hotmail's bulk mail folder, if you click on it, then you click off, so you click back, it empties the folder. I figured that one out the hard way. Because not only did I do that, I did that once before with about 60 emails about Jake Roberts' school.
Right.
I did it once then. I also did it once with about, I think it was 102 or 101 or something. So just over 100 votes. But I luckily have a kind of rough designation of all those votes for. Like I know that 50% were for one interview and kind of like 10% for the others. So I've got that pretty much sorted out. We're okay with that. But if you include those I lost, there's just under 1,500 votes being cast thus far.
Wow. Let me ask you a question, Daniel.
You have to make them, it's not the sort of thing you can just like think. So you can't like send your brainwaves to me like by thinking and therefore register your vote. You do have to click, and let everybody will click.
Right.
That's fair enough.
So that's effort. I mean, these people, these people are putting forth the effort to support our show, which I think is great. Very humbling it is. So Daniel, let me ask you a question here. Looking back at the shows that you did nominate, what would your vote be?
You see, I'm being swung by, that's the thing, so I know what people are voting for. So I know that maybe my vote, like, if I vote for one thing, it won't matter. Because it may win already, no matter how many votes, more votes the others get. Or...
come on, don't be a politician about it. What would you vote for? What do you think was our best interview?
if we take completely votes aside and everything, and I didn't know who's winning or who's losing or everything, I'd vote for Jake.
You'd vote for Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to vote for either Jake or Teddy Hart number 2.
Oh, yeah.
You know why?
Why that?
Because Teddy Hart number 2 was freaking, what's the word, intense?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, yeah, he was pretty intense. So I thought that was really good because he was cutting a promo for 20 minutes. That was great.
Just an outsider's tip, knowing how the votes are going. If you enjoyed the, for example, for a very specific example, if you enjoyed our B.G. James interview, then give that one a vote, because it's the outsider that's doing well. It's the horse with 3 legs that's overperforming.
Right.
If you see what I mean. It's not saying that B.G. James has 3 legs, or saying that our interview has 3 legs.
Right.
Because our interview didn't have any legs.
Mm-hmm.
It had dogs in the background.
Dogs in the background, that's right, that was his dogs. The road dogs.
Exactly. I did love that. That was such a great pun, like an audio pun.
Yeah, I said that myself, didn't I?
Mm.
Or did you say it? I don't remember. I heard it somewhere.
Well,
One of us did, and one of us was very creative.
exactly.
So, folks, you know, we're recording this on December 21st, maybe 22nd. It's like really late. Daniel's time is the 22nd. My time is the 21st, so that'll show you how late it is at night when we're doing this. Ultimately, the reason for me saying this is this will probably be our last show, at least through the new year, at least and through Christmas. At least through Christmas. Probably through the new year. So, if I don't get the chance to say it again, I wish everybody to have a happy and safe Christmas. I don't know what Hanukkah is, which is horrible to say, but if it's still going on, I wish you a very happy Hanukkah. Whatever Kwanzaa's date is, I wish you a happy Kwanzaa. Whatever your religious holiday of choice is, you know, James and Dan from the interactive interview wish you to have a happy and safe one, and come back and listen to us again very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Echoed sentiment things, yeah.
Okay, so can I be blunt for 1 second?
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about these, like, the photo galleries that they're going to use on MissyHyatt.tv. Just, if they want to, like, make me really happy, and this is, like, the worst thing I'm ever going to say on the show, just take one picture of Francine in, like, a thong or something for me. I mean, that'll just be make that my Christmas present. My belated Christmas present, please. James is lonely.
What you need to do is you need to email Francine or phone Francine and see if you can buy an autographed thong picture or something, and send it to yourself as your own Christmas present. Like to James from Francine.
Actually, about a year and a half ago, on eBay, I was selling, illegally of course, I was selling a Best of Francine tape compilation,
Mm-hmm.
and Francine emailed me.
Uh-huh.
And as a result, well, it wasn't Francine, it was her friend Bobby.
All right.
And she said, would you mind sending this to Francine herself? I said, sure. Sent it to her, and I actually do, on my wall right now, looking at it right now, have an autographed bikini photo of Francine.
Ooh.
Not a thong. Well, it might be, but you can't tell. But all I'm saying is hottest ass on the planet. No offense, I love her to death, but respect her to death, I should say. Don't love her, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think I've stunned Daniel with that one.
No, you just kind of rambled.
Yep.
I was letting you go.
Yep.
Kind of like a train that's just about to run out of steam. It's kind of chugging to the end of the line.
That's like, you ever hear people that start sentences really, really fast, and then, like, as they progress, they get slower? It's like the battery in their head is dying. Okay, so, I've been banned from the forums again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that. I don't even want to get into it because I don't even know why I was banned completely. Would you like to yell at me now on the air?
No.
No?
I'm too kind of sedated.
Sedated. Aw. Daniel's been spending time. So, Daniel.
Yeah?
We've got several interviews in the can.
Uh-huh.
And we've got several of them on tape as well.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Hey. Okay. So we've got them set to go up at some point. Scott Chong, awesome interview.
Indeed.
Johnny Swinger, awesome interview. You don't even remember it, I don't think. Jarrell Clark, already on the computer, ready to go up. What else we got? I can't remember. Sid, of course, but that's probably going to stay there for a while.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. Slowly, but we're working on it. So we got all these great things coming up for you. So stay tuned for more, and we're working on something fairly large.
Well, put it this way. We've had Rob Van Dam. We've had him.
Right. We had him.
First of all, we promised you. Next, we promised you Chris Jericho.
He's coming.
That's going to be happening in 2004.
2004, if I was to take a guess, probably in April, February or April. February, March, or April. To promote a new album.
I'm also working on another, myself and James are working on another interview with a big name star.
Two of them, actually. Two of them, technically.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about a huge name star. I'm working on him, that's true.
That's a huge name star, absolutely.
That's true, it's damn true. And we're also working on an up-and-comer who's getting a push on the SmackDown brand, the Cruiserweight. We're working on him as well. Mm-hmm. We've got preliminary, AOKs from those two guys. Don't want to honestly confirm anything until a date is set down, because that's what we've done in the past, and it's gone fallen through. So, as soon as we've got a date set down for those guys, we'll let you know who's coming up. Keep tuned on the Interactive Interview.
Britney Spears is kinda cute. We watch TRL on MTV. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And for Christmas, I'm hoping to get the Wrestle Crap book. I'm hoping. And if I do get it, then I'm going to try and get R.D. Reynolds on the show.
Who?
The Wrestle Crap book.
Oh, the Wrestle Crap book. I have a Wrestle Crap tape.
You do?
They made a Wrestle Crap tape a while back. And it was pretty much like the worst gimmicks of the cartoon era of the WWF.
Oh, dear.
I have it. It's pretty funny to watch it. They make fun of it pretty hard. It's pretty good.
But I might try and get him on if I like the book. If I don't, then I won't bother. Also, talking of books, we're trying to get Ollie Anderson on the show.
Ollie.
It could be happening in 2004. If Mike Disney book was coming out.
And some things that'll happen in 2004 is I'm writing a book right now for a guy that remains nameless. Mm-hmm. And once I'm done with that book and he's ready to promote it, we're going to be first on the list to get him, since I'm technically writing it.
And also, talking of books, the Hitman Bret Hart is working. No, neither of them two. He's writing a book. And once he is finished with his book, we're going to try and get him on the show.
Best there is.
A couple of people about it.
Maybe we can ask Brett about his nephew, how he feels about what his nephew said on our show. We're getting wrapped up in the Hart family here. We also have, sometime down the line, hopefully, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, which somehow got lost in the cards.
Yeah.
We have to find out, touch base with him again and see if he's still willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow that just got kind of lost. Daniel's yawning on the air.
I'm not yawning on purpose.
Ah.
I'm yawning because it's, let me look at the clock. Let me It's 42 minutes past 12.
Oh,
At night, not even during the day.
yeah.
If it was during the day, I'd still be asleep.
If it was during the day, I'd be asleep at 12:45. You know,
Yeah.
during the day. Knowing me, hey, I'm a college student that's off. You know what that means?
What?
That means when I'm off, I don't have to get up before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what it means.
For some stupid reason, when I'm like at college, like as Americans call it, at uni, like
Right.
during like term time,
Right.
while I'm actually there, I go to bed at like 4 a.m. and I get up at like 2 p.m. I miss my lectures. But when I'm home, I go to bed at like 12 or like 1 or whatever, or earlier. Sometimes I went to bed at 7 the other night. I went to bed at 10 the other night as well. It's stupid. I'm going to bed early and I'm getting up at like 7:30 in the morning or like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Like this morning I got up at the relatively late time of 11:30. Like what?
Wow.
If I get up at 11:30 back in Portsmouth, I'm happy.
Is there a difference in time zones in Portsmouth?
No.
No?
It's only an hour and a half drive.
No, I mean, like, in America, like, we have that incredibly difficult to figure out time zone.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Eastern time.
England, Ireland, Wales, and Scotland, and the Republic of Ireland are all 110% the same time.
Scotland.
Or it's either Greenwich Mean Time or Greenwich Mean Time +1.
Do you know somebody named Chris in Glasgow, Scotland?
I'm guessing there are probably upwards of 15,000 Christians in Glasgow.
The only reason I ask is because for some reason there's one on my MSN that I, like, say hello to, like, because I don't know who the hell it is half the time. I'm like, who's this? And he says, it's Chris from Glasgow. I'm like, who's that? Why are you on my list? How'd you get there? It's not like I have a problem with it. I'm just wondering, you know, I don't remember adding this guy.
I think you mean Glasgow, not Glasgow.
Glasgow. When they used to announce Roddy Piper from Scotland, didn't Howard Finkel go, weighing in at 234 pounds, from Glasgow, Scotland, Roddy Piper. Something like that. That was horrible.
Pretty good impression.
Was it? The best one is from the Department of Corrections in Cobb County, Georgia, the Big Boss Man. That's better.
So I'm also trying to get on the show. Apart from that, yeah, no, that's a good impression, and I don't know why, but, like, different countries seem to say different, like, countries' names differently and stuff, and I'm sure I've got into it before, and, like, Bayern München and Bayern Munich and stuff. I'm not going to get into it, because it's something I just go off and one about. But, yeah, the correct pronunciation for Scotland's Glasgow is Glasgow, G-O-W.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Completely and utterly off topic.
Completely and utterly off topic. The best idea for you to do right now is to do what I'm about to do. Get up off the floor.
I'm not on the floor.
Well, other people might be on the floor. And if you're like me, you're laying on the floor. Get up off the
I'm
floor.
laying on a bed.
Well, I sleep on a bed too, but I'm laying on the floor for some reason. Get up off the floor, sit down in the chair, turn on your computer, head over to MissyHyatt.tv, and drool.
I don't want to hear what I was going to... I was wondering where you was going with it.
Yep.
Now, I think what we should probably do is end this recap like a Goldberg title run.
Suddenly? Suddenly and unexplained.
We should probably job ourselves out to someone who wasn't on the pre-pay-per-view deal, like, who was only backing the title run because his stable hadn't hold all the gold.
Yeah. Before we do that, let me ask you a question. What did you think? Did you see Armageddon?
Yep, I saw it.
What'd you think?
Mr. Corleone, he sent me through a tape.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
excellent, excellent. Dave is the man. I sent him an email, and I hope he got it. If you want to email me, I sent you my new email address because that one is I'm going to delete soon, the one he's been emailing. So email me at the new one that I just sent you. But thank you very much. I honestly, what did you think of the IWA?
IWA was good.
You were surprised?
Especially that, was it Ricky Banderas versus,
Grand Apollo?
Was it?
The one that happened in the soccer stadium?
Yeah.
It was
an hour long.
Yeah, it was Grand Apollo. Ricky Banderas against Grand Apollo for the championship, I think. So the match is...
Savio Lee coming out and whatnot, and Ricky Banderas heel turning and stuff.
Yeah. I was very impressed with that.
I was amazed. I was hugely into it. I mean, a match that long, I probably would not be into normally. And considering, I mean, what build-up I had of it was about sort of 3 or 4 events.
Right.
I was so into it, and I mean, they put over people over there so well. Fair enough, they actually, I mean, on that tape, they don't actually have a match where it's just a match and there's no interference or no after the event, like someone gets hit or whatever. Fair enough, they don't actually have that at all. They have like you know, a run-in either after the event, like even after the event.
Right.
Oh, I think after the match is ended or during the match.
Right.
But still, it's like they get you involved in everything, and I mean they had I mean Savio Vega is obviously slightly heavier, a few more pounds than he was when he was in WWE.
Yeah, but he's not really an active competitor. He's more like the boss.
No, he's the boss.
The boss. My way or the highway.
But of course, Dutch Mantel on commentary.
Dutch Mantel and classic. Somebody help me out. If you can email me, I'd love to hear this. Where do I know the name Mario Savoldi from? I even asked Rick, and Rick didn't know. So if Rick doesn't know, I don't know who knows. But I've heard that name for years, and I know he was involved in the New Jersey independent scene as a referee. I don't know if he was ever in the WWF, but I know I've heard that name for years and years. He's the other announcer on the show, if you're wondering why I'm mentioning this. So yes, they're commentating in English.
Otherwise it might seem slightly random.
Right. He's the other announcer with Dutch Mantel. They announce in English, obviously. Dutch tries to translate, which is kind of funny sometimes. Because he's not translating it word for word, and you could tell. It's like when you hear like something like "Hijo la puta," like "you son of a bitch" or something like that. He's like, "Oh, I'm not suddenly going to say that." He said, "I don't like you, buddy." And no, that's not what he said.
Do you know Spanish?
Do I know Spanish? A little bit.
Oh.
Little bit. Very little. I can't usually get it when they're speaking that fast, but like when you hear like the slangs that you and your friends learned before you actually took Spanish class, you kind of know that. But when they're speaking it that quickly, it's kind of hard to keep up.
Yeah, when I was in France, in Euro, this kid came up to me, and I could tell that he was asking something about a toilet, but he was French, and he was speaking so quickly, so I have no idea. So I obviously assumed that he was asking me where the nearest toilet was.
Right.
So I'm pointing towards the toilet and that one. Apparently, according to my mum, who can understand it slightly more than me, I think it could have been the girl I was there with. Actually, no, it was the girl I was there with. She can understand French slightly more than me.
Uh-huh.
And she understood that what he was actually saying was, "Do you need the toilet?" So I said,
why would somebody come up to you at random? Hang on a second, hang on.
Do I need it?
Let me ask you a question. Why would somebody come up to you at random and ask you if you need the toilet?
It's a little kid, I don't know, I want to... It was a strange sort of situation in that I was sitting on a bench, kind of sort of tapping my knee. I don't know, but the kid sort of...
You were standing during a dance and saying, I gotta pee, so he came up to you and asked her that.
No, I was just sitting on a bench waiting for... Because I'd been on the runaway train, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for the rest of the group I was with to come off. And I'm sitting on a bench, tapping my knee. And the kid comes and runs over to me. And his sort of parents sort of marginally behind him. And asked what I thought he said, where is the nearest toilet? So I'm pointing directly across me, because directly across from the right train is the toilet.
Right.
So I'm pointing to that, and of course, it's not that what he's asking me. He's asking me, do I need the toilet? So, no, I don't. Thanks, little French kid. Just got a Brit doesn't mean that I need the toilet.
Oh, wow. How the hell did we end up talking about this?
No idea.
I have...
Gogo's title range, French kid needing the toilet.
Yes. Well, IWA... I thought IWA was actually excellent. I had no expectations when I put it in, and then it just kept getting better and better, and I love the classic matches, too. That's a fun little look back.
Yeah.
What else did I get? TNA of late. Of course, they had the last live show of the year. Only main thing that I have to say is that they're now not even mentioning Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And that's just like, what happened? I mean, that's what the fans are going to be thinking, that don't have the internet and don't know what happened. But they're not even mentioning Hogan anymore, and that's just kind of like, man, you dropped the ball. But I think they'll recover nicely. I don't think it'll be the death of them by any means, but I think if they need to, have some kind of closure on that angle.
Mm-hmm.
Sting showed up. He looked great. He beat Jeff Jarrett in a non-title match, which once they said it was a non-title match, that usually means the champion's going to lose.
Yeah.
So, but that was slightly predictable. But I thought it was actually a great show, high energy. Liked it a lot. Armageddon.
I was going to say about the ending of TNA. When I read that, I mean, I haven't seen the show yet because Dave sends me the videos like 3 at a time, right?
Right.
And for one day. So I haven't seen that show yet, but I read the ending and it really, it's like how, I don't understand how TNA had that shock value, but I never would have thought of that ending with Billy Owens.
Thank you for mentioning this. It was like silence. They had Joey Legend and Northcutt handcuffed to the cage. It's a cage match. They handcuffed him to the cage, and they hit the Gathering, CM Punk and Julio Gennaro, hit the two guys with a chair, while Raven was setting up for the DDT on Abyss. Raven's Gathering takes the chairs, and they pretty much squash him from other side of the head. Raven falls to his knees like he'd been shot, and then falls on his back. And the crowd dies. It's like silent. They were hot, and then it just went silent. And I was like, yeah, that's psychology. You got him. I was like, yes, that is perfect. That's brilliant. You got to see it. You got to see and listen to the crowd. It's just like they literally were stunned. And if you can accomplish that these days, that's a feat, because fans are hard to please these days.
Oh, yeah.
I was very much satisfied with that, and I don't know if anybody else except Raven could have pulled that off.
Yeah, definitely, utterly and totally shocked me, because I never... I mean, the match was announced and whatnot. I mean, in WWE, so you had, right an example, you got Conway and La Resistance going against, say, 3 members of the Dudleys. You're going to sit there and think, right, 3 faces, 3 heels, pretty boring average match. How are they going to spice it up? I don't know, one of them will turn on someone, Probably Bubba Ray, because, he's hardcore. He could say, I'm at the USA, blah, 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 whatever. You get that. But Northcutt, Legend and Abyss versus the Gathering Raven. You're not going to think that a heel's going to turn and, screw over the heels.
Right, and what I love, too...
And I don't think the fans would get into even Legend or Northcutt doing it. And the Gathering just follow Raven around. It wouldn't be the sort of thing you'd think of. And it wasn't the sort of thing I thought, to be honest.
Right. And when you saw that happen, you just have to watch it when you get the tape. Raven, when he gets hit with the chairs, he falls to his knees like he'd been shot. And then he falls back limp. It was like perfect. I was like, wow, I'm amazed at this. And the announcers are shocked, and they're like, oh my God, they turned their backs. And the crowd is just dead. I loved it. They were so hot right before it happened, and when they hit him with the chairs, the crowd just goes dead silent. Amazing. Amazing. That's psychology. That's Jake the Snake Roberts' teaching to Raven. That's what that was. That was, oh my God. What happened? I don't believe it. That's what that was. That's what Jake tries to teach people. And that's what you can learn at his school.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was a great thing. As for Armageddon, I don't know.
I'm not a fan.
You don't like it?
Nope, didn't enjoy it. I pretty much, I mean, I give most WWE pay-per-views the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I don't pay for them, and they're all free.
Right.
Except for 4 a year or whatnot. But, I mean, I give them all the benefit of the doubt, normally. And I enjoyed most of them. I mean, not only was this one, I couldn't see it live, because they snubbed the UK fans, whatever. They're not giving us those four pay-per-view ones aren't being given to us anymore, whatever.
Yep.
Fine, you do that. But I got it on tape from Dave, as I said, go to film on Friday or Thursday.
Right.
And I watched it. And I really just, I didn't enjoy it. And I'm pretty glad they didn't offer it to us, actually, because if they had, I would have paid for it. And if I would pay for that, I would have been annoyed.
First of all, there's a couple problems with it. I didn't pay for it either. I got tapes like the next day. But here's what I didn't like about it. First of all, it's 2.5 hours. So as to be closer to 3 hours. Second of all, the card just wasn't built up right, I don't think. Because none of the matches were that hot, and the crowd just didn't seem that into us, a lot of the matches. The main event, when he hit him with the chokeslam, first of all, the chokeslam did not look devastating. It did not look like it was that vicious of a chokeslam. So when he got the 3 count on it, I was kind of shocked, but not shocked in like the Raven gathering chair shot thing. Like, oh my God, what was that? Instead of that, it was, what the hell are they thinking? It was kind of pretty much that way, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, when I saw them holding the belts, I was like, so that's what they're going for, but I don't think it's a good idea. I don't know, but
I think that what they could have done, they could have improved the fact that they had Batista and Flair win the titles by making it more shocking. Because the second before they had the tag turmoil match, they have an interview where Ric Flair says, "We're going to walk out of here as tag champions," or whatever, or with title belts. I mean, can you make it any more obvious?
that's like,
They're going to be the next winner. It's just like, it ruins the surprise. But, apart from that, I did enjoy the Batista Michaels match.
that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I had pretty much, I had faith in that match being good, and I did like the decision of putting the IC title on Randy Orton.
Right.
It was always going to happen, but I like the idea of that. But,
It was a good idea, but I think they kind of built towards a Mick Foley, possibly. Mick Foley or Steve Austin being the next victim for the career killer, or whatever the hell they're calling him. Legend killer.
I mean, technically, Foley and Austin are technically, in Orton's eyes, they've been killed and then he's gone through them. Because he ended Stone Cold's career or whatever, and he screwed Foley, etc. So they still haven't had a match.
He could come. Austin could show up for a month doing his like old stuff where he drives in with the car, and he's just like say something, you can't kill me because I'm still standing or something. Then Randy Orton wins the match, and he says, and like while Austin's on his back out cold, say, "You're not standing now," or something like that. Just like put him over big. I mean, if you're gonna push this guy, personally, I think he still needs a little bit of something. He's kind of got the recipe, but he just needs like a touch of salt or something. So I don't know what he needs, but they got to do something little with him. And it might not be much, because I see a lot of talent in this guy. He's got a lot of talent, got a pretty good look, so he could pretty much.
He needs a secondary finisher.
It's kind of like the diamond cutter, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got the RKO, which is great and everything.
Isn't that a diamond cutter?
Yeah, it is, basically. It's like a diamond cutter from any angle.
Right. Well, isn't that what...
He'll jump off the ground and do it like he did. I think he needs a secondary finisher. Because, fair enough, he's got DDP's diamond cutter. People know it as a diamond cutter, maybe. But apart from that, I mean, 9 times out of 10, most champs have got 2 finishers. Kurt Angle's got the
Angle slam and the ankle lock.
angle slam and the ankle. Rock had rock bottom and
People's elbow.
effectively.
Mick Foley had the double arm DDT and the mandible claw. Right.
And Big Show had the choke slam and the final cut.
Hogan has the big boot and the leg drop.
I mean, the exception pretty much is Austin.
Right. He's got the stunner. I guess the only other thing you could say is a Thez press, but that's not really a finisher.
Yeah, I mean, you could have given him like a poke to the eye as a finisher, and he still would have got over. So whatever. I mean, Goldberg's got jackhammer and spear.
Spear and jackhammer. Sometimes they get you with the spear, but usually it's spear then jackhammer. It's kind of like Hogan's Bigfoot. Bigfoot leg drop, spear jackhammer.
Exactly. So they've all got that. And apart from that, I mean, he's kind of generic. He's got charisma.
Yeah.
He's not.
He doesn't have that special thing right now. He needs a little flavor.
He seems kind of like The Rock as Rocky Maivia.
Right. He's got the tools. It's just a matter of, putting it in action. Like, you got the right tools, but you need the mechanic right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen with him. I think he has it, because I see something in him, but I don't know if he's going to get to that level. I don't think he's going to get to the Rock level, but he'll probably make it to the high card, maybe even a main eventer. But I don't think he's going to become as big as the Rock, because there really is only so many Rocks. Not a big fan of the Rock.
They're going to push him high enough to make it, but whether he actually does it or not, we'll see.
Well, the thing is, you can push somebody to the moon. It's a matter if the people accept him or not.
Circa A-Train and like Big Show.
Right.
As example, the people who necessarily weren't accepted.
Right.
So
I don't know. I really like Big Show.
I don't know, John.
I think the problem is now they killed the novelty. He's huge. Everybody knows it. But now you're having everybody throw him around, and now you're just like, it's like, okay, so you've been thrown around before. And it's kind of over. You kind of got to build him up as this monster that nobody can slam again.
And just a thing about Randy Orton, and stuff. I've said before in the past, I think it'd be a good idea for him to like go with Hulk Hogan or whatever at WrestleMania 20. But it appears that they seem to be building up for a Mick Foley and Rock versus Triple H and Randy Orton tag match. Seems to be the way they're sort of heading.
If that's the way they're heading, the only problem with that is you got to have a world title match, and Triple H does not like to be apart from the World Championship belt for very long. And it's WrestleMania 20. You got to have a title match. So maybe
they could change it and have a 4-way match. I see maybe like those 4 competitors, whatever, those 4 people, but have it in a 4-way match and put the title on the line. Then a way to sort of springboards Randy Orton even further would be having him pin Triple H.
Oh,
and therefore it would
Elimination Chamber. They draw straws in the back, and Randy Orton and Triple H at the start. And Orton pins Triple H. And Triple H is the first one gone. Interesting. Could work. I'd have him, if you really want to push him, have Randy Orton last to the end and have whoever's going to win beat him. Like that idea?
I suppose.
Okay. Well, we've kind of gone way, way longer than we expected, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it's been a while since we did one of these things, so we had to talk a lot.
Exactly.
So, we again hope you liked Missy Hyatt's interview. Gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Wow. MissyHyatt.tv is the website. Check it out. The wrestling versions of the Osbournes with 2 of the hottest women on the planet. Then you got upcoming guests, including, Gerald Clark, Scott Chong, yada 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 yada. We've been through that. Possibly Sid sometime. Everybody, 3 count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What's the name of that other song? Something.
There's quite a few other songs actually.
No, shit. What's the name of that other song? Something with my heart. Can't play games with my... Quit playing games with my heart, or something like that. I knew I was in trouble right from the start. All we need now is Tank Abbott to dance around to me. Dan's a little afraid of my singing. I don't think he...
I get it and everything. I'm just confused.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, all we need now is Tank Abbott to dance around to my faggy music. Yay! 1, 2, 3.
I'd like to hear someone's opinion on it.
What?
Nothing. I'm rambling.
What I'd like to hear, actually, never mind. What I'd like to hear right now is a song dedicated to somebody that you're going to say to leave alone. So, a long story, Van Halen, Can't Stop Loving You. There we go. We're going to wrap up. Happy New Year, everybody. Have a great holiday, whatever it might be. Kwanzaa, Christmas, what is it, Hanukkah? Hanukkah. I'm offending our Jewish people. I'm sorry, I just don't know anything. Hanukkah, whenever that is. Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay listening to TII.